And it's a lot of fun hunting humans. See, those fuckers are watching all the time. See how that grass is pushed down? Then it's all pushed down this way. It's only a couple hours old. Did you come in from over there? Mexico's down in there. So this is a layup. They'll sit here and watch the roads coming in. That's the road we came in on, and that's the only other one that comes down. Right down at the bottom is Mexico. So they're coming up here, sit here and rest, because this is the high point of the trail for them. Then they look that way to make sure nothing's coming, and they drop down. See, and that's a humanitarian water bottle. That's not too old at all. Looking like a Guatemalan. See the grass, how it's all flattened out there? That's all fucking today. I got tired of hearing the narrative that was, don't worry, it's safe and secure, and so I decided to come down out of Phoenix to take a look, and when I saw it, I said, you're kidding me, right? This is safe and secure? But 2010, I sold everything and moved down here. And been down here ever since. So I've been here now for 10 years.
We don't need people coming out here or anywhere along the border or anywhere else in the country armed to the teeth, attempting to impose their racism and xenophobia on everybody else. I think they're a bunch of bloody vigilantes from the alt-right. They have a view that's a lot narrower than I think is healthy for the country and than I think is healthy for us. And they're resented by most of us out here. We've had in the last decade at least 10,000 people die on our doorsteps out here trying to make it across. 4 young boys from a Guatemalan village, they were Mayan Indians. The whole village ponied up every penny they had to pay coyotes to get them across. When the group they were with were busted by Border Patrol, these 4 boys managed to escape. And they wandered in here. They'd had no food for 4 days. They'd had no water for a day and a half or 2. Their feet were bloody. Now these kids, all I could think of when they came up was the Orange Turd's comment about rapists and murderers. These boys were 16 and 17 years old, maybe 5 foot tall and 100 pounds. Gentle, loving kids. I fed them, I clothed them, I got them medical care, and they went on their way. And I pray God they made it.
We have a '89 Bronco too that is my husband's pride and joy. And we had gone to town to get another key made for it, and we went with a couple and we had lunch and shopped around, and when we came home, the gate was shut, the Bronco was sitting by the gate, and our front door was locked, which had not been when we left. So immediately the neighbors started showing up to tell us what had happened. And Oscar Perez came by the house and saw these 3 illegal aliens in the Bronco trying to drive out. So he parked in front of the gate and asked what they were doing, and they informed him that it's okay, and the owner wants me to take this down the road for him. And Oscar said, I know the owner, I don't think that's what he's asked at all. So he reached in the back of his truck and got a long stick, club, whatever you want to call it, and started toward the guys, and they jumped out of the car and ran. So they called the police and secured the house and the Bronco and the gate, and I really, really felt violated. I had never experienced that before. If there is an emergency and you call 911, the Border Patrol will normally respond before a police ever shows up. So in that sense, it's a good thing. They're here and that we have some kind of legal presence 24 hours a day.
I really dislike the checkpoints. Just to drive from here to go get some groceries in a bigger store or go golfing, which I like to do, etc. I have to be asked questions and stopped, and I don't like it. If you're leaving Arivaca, you're required to stop. It's basically some bumps in the road and a little tent where the people sit, and they come out and you're expected to roll down your window. And depending on their training, they ask you the usual questions, which generally starts with, are you a U.S. citizen? Well, I don't believe I have to answer that. So if I want to get to the golf course in time, I say yes. And they say, have a nice day. If I don't want to, I don't say anything. And so they ask again, and I said, am I free to go? And trying not really to have a conversation, just trying to move along without succumbing to their bullshit. I mean, it's just aggravating. Let's just put it that way. And the most aggravating thing is that I'm white. And my brown friends catch hell. It's not right. I'm sorry. It sucks.
The data are clear that 90-some% of the smuggling is coming through ports of entry, not being smuggled overland. It doesn't make economic sense anymore. When I can load a car full of heroin or methamphetamine in an automobile and run it across the border at a port of entry, why in the world would I go to the risk and expense and danger of crossing the desert?
This is an area where you'll see a lot of narcotics come through here. So right now we're in the south end of Tucson, south side. We're right now at Aerospace and Nogales Highway. So Nogales Highway can be one of the roads that traffickers can use to bring their narcotics north into the United States. It can continue to go west towards California. It can continue to go northwest to Washington, to go east, New York, Illinois. As the dope goes across the states further east, the dollar amount of the narcotics goes up in money. So, you know, these narcotics, the drug trafficking organizations, they want to get this dope across to the East Coast because that's where most of the money is at. We're looking for, you know, the driving behavior of someone. Not just the driving behavior, but the driver's behavior as well. You know, when you come up to them and you look at them, do they seem to be nervous while we're behind them, or they see us around? You know, when you see someone very nervous, we tend to look at that. And when we do see the nervous behaviors and we find a probable cause stop this person, you know, it does lead to drug seizures in that point. So we do look at certain things like that while we're patrolling the streets. you ask what a drug dealer looks like, you really can't say this is what a drug dealer looks like. Unfortunately, there's not that, because any type of person is transporting drugs or is a drug dealer, it's all walks of life. I mean, you see people who you wouldn't think that were going to be transporting the drugs.
Basically what you see here is American citizens going out into the mountains and leaving water and food and everything else for, they don't even know who it is, and here they come back. And the people who leave the water out, they don't even live around here. They come from California, from Oregon, from Washington, from Colorado, from Illinois. We always see out-of-state plates. Same trail, different group of people. That was, see, he's carrying out a blanket for them, and it amazes me that these people would do this. That's a cartel scout. And you can see his binoculars right there, and then he's got another black pouch right there. That's got his radio in it. So and scouts always traveling too. So basically what it allows them to stay up on top of the mountains longer. So the humanitarians who say that they're, just helping poor migrants coming across are actually helping the cartel get their drugs and their people across. Because the scouts stay on the mountaintops for 2 weeks at a time. And to try to carry 2 weeks of food and water, it'd be pretty hard. So with these humanitarian water drops based at the bottom of these scout mountains, all they do is come down, fill up again, and go back up top. This is where we are. And these are all cartel scout locations. I don't even have all of them on here yet. The scouts are everywhere. They watch and monitor all the roads for Border Patrol. But when you put the scout locations and then you overlay the water drops, they're pretty much always right next to the scout locations. There again, you can see that they're helping the cartels.
People who go out and leave food and water in the desert to help save the immigrants' lives are some of the most noble people I have ever met. I wish I was young and I didn't have bad knees and I'd be out there with them. And so what I do is I support them financially as much as I can, and also I support them emotionally and with my spirit. I'm a first-generation American on my mother's side. My mother's family was welcome here, and I welcome any family that wants to come here from anywhere. I believe that people should be allowed to cross legally, and then people would not be taking their lives in their hands to try to cross the desert and make it here. Anybody that makes it here should be given a parade and a medal and welcomed into our society.